Welcome to the ANEW Body Insight podcast, empowering and inspiring your journey to optimal health. Hosted by Dr. Supatra Tovar, clinical psychologist, registered dietitian, fitness expert, and author of Deprogrammed Diet Culture. Rethink your relationship with food, heal your mind, and live a diet-free life. And Chantal Donnelly, physical therapist and author of Settled, How to Find Calm in a Stress-Inducing World. Here at City Club Los Angeles, we follow our guests' journey to optimal health, providing you with the keys to unlock your own wellness path. Tune in and evolve with us. Welcome back to the ANEW Body Insight podcast. We are back for the second half of our interview with Vernon Webb and Shaune Arnold from Mind Mastery Accelerator. Vernon and Shaune gave us some really amazing insight into Silva mind control and NLP, and we just got started on their Mind Mastery Accelerator program. I'm going to dig in and ask a few more questions about this program. We can't wait to learn more. Thanks for coming back, you two.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, in the last half, we were talking about the program, and you gave us an overview of the initiate portion of that. Can you tell us about the other? There's 4 steps, correct? There's initiate, apprentice, journeyman, and mind master.
Absolutely.
What about the other levels?
After the initiate, we were talking about the apprentice. The apprentice is 3 hours long. Mm-hmm. And what makes the apprentice so interesting is the fact that it goes into more advanced mental training. You start getting comfortable with being able to close your eyes. You have understanding the importance of spending time by yourself. Now let's talk about you as the entrepreneur. And with the entrepreneur, prime directive, got to make money. Mm-hmm. But what's been holding you back? Why is it so difficult? And somewhere along the line, you begin to accept as a belief that is true that making money is hard. Mm-hmm. And do you deserve to make money? And that in and of itself is a very difficult question, because people can say, well, that's what I want to do. But do you deserve it? Well, no, but that's what I want to do.
Yeah. Or they've been taught money is the root of all evil, or rich people are, the devil.
Yep.
And that comes into play.
It becomes a part of their belief system.
Yes.
And they just act that way.
Right.
And once you realize that money is evil and you're not supposed to have it, then making money becomes more challenging.
Yes.
Because that's what you believe. And so what we're looking at doing is changing the way that people look at money. Mm-hmm. Money, first of all, is nothing but paper. Mm-hmm. It's a means of getting what it is that you want. But people have got their idea about money as, instead of being something that it's close to them.
Yes.
Shaune?
Yes.
Way out there. I can't even see the money. It's so far away. So it's certainly not in my pocket. Certainly not in my pocket. It's way out there, and I'll just never get, because if I run after it, it runs faster than I do. So I'll never catch it. Mm-hmm. But what we're talking about being able to do in those 3 hours with the apprentice training is, first of all, stop chasing it. Mm-hmm. Well, how am I going to get it if I don't chase it? Just stop chasing it. Mm-hmm. Now, how about having the money come to you? Mm-hmm. I can do that? Absolutely. You create that mental picture in your mind, and you change your relationship to money. First of all, it's not evil. And if something isn't evil, then let's have it come a little bit closer here. Mm-hmm. And it is something that is going to change your life for the good. Come a little closer. Let me get a little more information about this. Mm-hmm. And your relationship with money changes.
Right.
And that, for those people who have businesses, it is just paramount that they learn to change their relationship to money.
It's from going from the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset?
It is, in fact.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what you will teach in the apprentice level.
Yes.
That and a few things. For example, we talk about beliefs, limiting beliefs, and how do you change those? Well, you work with your value system. Your values are things that are important to you about a certain area of your life. In our last segment, we're speaking about the wheel of life and how you're doing great in certain areas of your life and not doing great in other areas of your life. And so in the initiate program, we are going to have them actually identify an area of their life where they're not supporting themselves. And then we're going to take them through a neurostrategic technique to help them actually blow out that limiting belief and visualize their life without it. When we get to the apprentice level, it gets a little deeper because we start to work with your values. We will elicit the value structure of that area of your life that needs some more support. And when you elicit your value structure and you realize what your top 5 values are in that area of your life, you realize what's driving your behavior in that area of your life. And your value structure may not be supporting your goals.
Right.
I'll give you an example. When I first started my business as an attorney, starting my own firm, I had already been a lawyer for 20 years. I knew how to practice law, but I spent my career on the 45th floor. I never had to have a value conversation with a client to say to them, pick me over somebody else. I never had to ask for the money. I never had to tell them why I was the one to choose. I was on the 45th floor. They knew my value before they ever got to me. So when it came time for me to start my own law firm, I had the value structure of an employee. I was in so much emotional pain trying to learn how to run a business. And again, I had been a business consultant for 30 years. I had been a business attorney for 20 years. It wasn't the skill set that was the problem. It was the mindset that was the problem. It was the fact that in the area of career and money, and I elicited 50 nouns, which represent that which is important to me in the area of career and money. Money wasn't on the list. Prospecting wasn't on the list. So how am I going to call a prospect and ask for the money if I don't find money important? Why? Because I was a baby bird for 20 years. They were feeding me paychecks. I didn't spend the last one. They're giving me the next one. Right. That's not to brag. That's to say I didn't value money. And so when I got to a point in my life when I had to value money, it just wasn't there.
Right.
And so fortunately for me, I was studying NLP at the time. And I was doing master practitioner training. And my partner and I did the values work. We adjusted my value structure. We put, well, you don't ever change someone's number one value in any area of their life because you'll change their personality. They'll go home and divorce their spouse. They'll do something wild and crazy. It will change their personality. So you don't change that one. But we took money and prospecting and put them in as numbers 2 and 3 in my value system with respect to career and money. And I literally generated $5 million over, I think it was about 3 years. I think we did it. My partner and I, my law partner and I would not have been able to do that as easily if I had not had NLP in my quiver.
Wow.
It literally saved my life. I was face down on my kitchen floor, unable to function. And NLP got me up and going. And I said to my teacher, I want to teach NLP. I want this stuff in my bones so completely that I don't have to think about it. I just understand it. And so if I have to teach it to you, I'm really going to have to learn it. And so that's why I started teaching NLP, so that I could get it all the way in my DNA.
Yeah.
And that is what helped me build the law firm.
Yes. Well, and certainly will help other people build their business for sure.
So as we move forward in our various programs, we will get deeper and deeper. We will bring in more of the neurostrategic techniques. We will help people to identify their deepest core fears and traumas and help them resolve them so that they can build the life that they want.
So what are some examples of the most common limiting beliefs? I would say in my psychology practice, people tend to think I am not safe. They tend to think I am worthless. I'll never amount to anything good. What are the most common that you two see?
You've touched on a couple of them right there. And what most people don't realize is that they can say, well, I'm going to have money, and they start, trying to visualize it. But what they're not aware of is that there is a secondary gain. And secondary gain is something that is bigger than the original thing that you were programming for. For example, more money. But the secondary gain that is so large says you don't deserve to have money. You haven't had money up to now. Nobody in your family's had money. What makes you any different? You think you're better than they are? Oh, no. And then you go, yeah, that's right. And you start moving in the opposite direction of the forward direction that you say you want to, begin to move in.
Right.
It's interesting because when I'm talking with my coaching clients, I said, let me ask you a question that I think will be, illuminate some things. Have you ever had the feeling you were holding yourself back? And they say, yeah, I have. I have had that feeling. I said, very often. They go, yeah. I said, why would you do that? Why would you hold yourself back? And I get two answers. One is, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. And the other answer I get is fear. I said, now we can talk. Because fear is mental.
Yes.
We have two fears that are natural to us. One is the fear of falling, and the other is the fear of loud noises. We ain't big on snakes either, by the way. But, those are the two.
Yes.
And when people start looking at those fears, I said, every other fear that you have, you've learned. And it makes people stop and think.
Oh, yes.
What have they been told? And once you start finding out what you've been told, that's when you need to start making changes internally. And Silva is good at it. NLP is outstanding at it because you can get it, boom, just like that. You can lay on a couch if you want for a year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Or you can learn how to access that change that you need to make it and say, and that's the way I see the world now. I deserve to have the things I want to have. I want to be able to make in 5 years, oh, shucks, $5 million. And then believe it.
Yes. I can't believe how often I recommend watching this video to my clients and everyone I know. But I don't know if you've seen Jim Carrey's commencement speech.
Oh, yes.
It is so powerful
Yes.
when you
Yes.
break down that speech, because he basically talks about every choice in life being one of love or fear. And if you choose love, you can never, ever go wrong. And I think that that's at the heart of this mindset training, because fear is what keeps us from achieving everything that we want to achieve, whether it's the relationship we want or getting, our business as prosperous as we want it to be. Is because we have this fear that we won't get it. And it's looking at things in terms of the worst case scenario. And I always have my clients imagine, okay, well, what is the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that can happen? Now let's imagine what is the best case scenario. What can happen there? And when they actually open their minds to the best, it's a new thing for them. They're not used. We live in a kind of a doomsday culture, doom scrolling. Our media is so negative. It's if it bleeds, it leads, and so we're
Yes.
kind of conditioned to go immediately to worst case scenario. But I encourage everyone to go to the best case scenario, because that's where you're actually going to achieve what you want to achieve. And that sounds like
Exactly.
that's this
Mind
program.
Mastery Accelerator.
Yes.
So Journeyman goes that step further. What's the step? Don't give it all away. I know
Okay.
you want people to come,
Okay.
but give us a taste.
Journeyman, imagine being able to combine NLP and Silva together closely. What could you do? Because Silva will teach you how to perceive information through other than the 5 physical senses,
Right.
which in and of itself is extremely powerful.
Yes.
In fact, when the Silva grads learn that they can do that, we caution them about telling their family and their friends. And now, when you go out, you've worked these cases, you've gotten this, yeah. Think twice before you tell somebody, because they are liable to fit you for a straight suit. You can tell me about somebody in New York and what is wrong with them, and you know how to mentally and emotionally send them healing help and affect that person's health. Well, yeah. No, you can't. I'm trying to tell you. So just kind of keep it to yourself. But the mind is that powerful. And like a muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Yes.
And so that's where we're going to be taking those who have come through the classifications, starting with the initiate, going to the apprentice, going to the journeyman, and then the mind master. Energy follows thought.
Yes.
It's important.
Absolutely.
Energy follows thought. What goes around comes around. And when I've talked with my students about that, when I was lecturing for Silva, I said, what goes around comes around. If what goes around is positive and loving, what's going to come around is the energy that is positive and loving in the form of positive situations
Yes.
and positive people. If what goes around is of a negative nature, what is going to come around is going to be negativity and problems in the form of negative situations. Why is this always happening to me? Or negative people that want to try and put you down. So the best thing for you to do is decide what you want and not allow that to take over your life. Because no matter what you do, what goes around is going to come around.
Every day and in every way.
I'm getting
Better,
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 and
better.
better.
That is from Silva Mind Control.
Yes, it is.
And it's something that you're supposed to practice on a regular basis. And when you do enter into that positive mindset, you just naturally attract and bring into your life people, situations, money that help support that.
What I think people need to be aware of, because I've talked to a lot of people who say, I meditate. And I'm like, really? Great. How often do you meditate? Oh, once or twice a week. I go, How long do you meditate for? Oh, about 5 minutes, maybe 10. Once or twice a week, 5 or 10 minutes. And were you looking for change, or are you just relaxing your body and your mind? No, I want to change. And you're going to have to make some changes.
Yeah.
This has got to be an everyday thing for you.
Yep.
If you want to see, if you were working at the gym, if you were at the gym and you wanted to build muscles, you go on Monday. On Wednesday, you're not looking for muscles already. It's like you just got started. You just started Monday. It's got to go over and over. Spaced repetition is
Yes.
the way that we learn.
Yes. Yes, this is what I teach my clients. This is what I do for myself. I make sure I have my morning session. I make sure I have my afternoon session,
Yes.
and I have my session before I go to bed. And it's profoundly changed my life and really
I
helped
have
me
no doubt.
achieve things that I never thought I could achieve. So I'm all for this.
One of the things that I enjoy, and this is where I really get a little, I don't like to say cocky, but when
Confident.
you extremely. I
Assured.
explained very. I said, if I were to put together 2 parts of hydrogen and 1 part of oxygen, what are the chances I'd get water? And they said, very good. I said, would you bet against me? They go, no. I said, why? Because it's a formula. If you do this and this, that's going to happen. Really? Really. If you do this and this, that's going to happen. When you take the time to slow your brainwave levels down and learn how to create the necessary mental pictures, that's going to change your life. It's a formula. It has to happen. So I like to say, I can guarantee it. If you do the things that I tell you to do, I can guarantee you will take your life to another level of success.
I love this.
And on a practical level, while you build that confidence through these mindfulness techniques, we're going to be giving them some very practical trainings that they can put to use in their business. He's an executive coach, an executive performance coach. I'm a business attorney. So we will be sharing with them, for example, how to be a more effective communicator. How to speak into someone's listening. What does that mean? That means that people enjoy receiving information in a certain way. Some people want to see the information. Some people want to hear the information. Some people just want you to make them feel good about the information. Other people need the data. I am auditory digital. I need the data. If you don't give me the numbers, you're going to lose me.
Yeah.
And so each of us has a preferred method or mode in which we like to receive information. And if we are in business and we are approaching our prospects in the way that we like to receive information, we're missing about 75% of the people out there.
Yeah.
We're not speaking into their listening. We're not presenting the information in the way that they like to receive it. So we're going to show them, how do you peg somebody who's visual? How do you peg somebody who's kinesthetic? What kind of words do they use? How do they breathe? How do they stand? How do they, like if you move in on someone who's auditory digital, they're going to back up.
Right.
If you move in on someone who's kinesthetic, they're going to move in closer.
What am I?
I think you're visual.
I totally am.
Yeah.
She got it. I am.
Yes.
Yes.
Colors and the way you present is very important to you. Yeah. Very visual.
Very interesting.
But I suspect that auditory digital's in there too, because you're a doctor.
Not the numbers. That's my husband. I am. Don't talk numbers to
But
me.
the
I'll be
data,
like,
the data, the information, because information is more than numbers.
That's true.
Everything is information.
yes.
And so the way we process that information
Yes.
is very personal to us. But if we're trying to do business with somebody, then we need to understand that person, how they like to receive information, and how best to communicate to them. There are 6 components to effectively communicating with someone.
What are they?
Well,
Lay it on us.
sign up for Mind Mastery Accelerator and find out.
Okay. Well, give us one.
Air.
Air.
Yes. Air. Water, for example. Water being curious. Air being light. Fire. Making someone passionate. There are different components, different ways to communicate with someone to elicit different responses from them. So 97% of our communication is nonverbal. In order to really get somebody to move off of their wallet, you're going to have to get below that 3% of verbal communication. You're going to have to become more curious. You're going to have to get to know their wants, their needs, their criteria, their emotions. When you can elicit these things from them, and then connect your product or your service to it and then feed it back to them as a solution, you're going to get their wallet.
Yeah. Oh, well, this is going to be
what we're
fascinating.
really talking about here is the ability to persuade.
Yes.
Because
Go
that's
on.
all sales is about. You are persuading someone to purchase your goods or your services. So how do you persuade? Well, you find out how they like to receive their information. And once you know how to receive their information, you start paying closer attention to their body language. Do they speak with their hands, or do they, just put their hand over their mouth? I mean, all of this is part and parcel of being persuasive. And for those people who are in the business of making money and being persuasive, those are the ones that need to be there.
Absolutely. You use your sensory acuity as you're speaking with someone. Look at their coloring. Is their coloring, are they going red? Are their lips starting to thin? Are their eyes glazing over? Are they checking their watch? I mean, how are they receiving the information that you're giving them?
Right.
So there's a lot to establishing rapport with someone,
Yes.
mirroring and matching them, matching their tone. There's a lot, and we're going to, over the course of a year, that's how long the entire program is. We're going to give you all of these, all 26 processes from NLP and all of the mindfulness trainings from Silva. We're going to bring them all together. They fit so beautifully together that I'm just excited
I'm excited too.
to bring this program to people.
Well, before we open up for questions in the audience, how do people find you? What is your website? What are your social media handles so that people can follow you and start to work with you?
They can go to www.mindmasteryaccelerator.com.
All one word.
Yes, all one word. Accelerator, 1LOR. .com, and take a look at our programs and join us on the 14th. And we've already chosen January 23rd as our apprentice program, the 3-hour program, and then the journeyman program will be in March. It will be 3 days where we start to really go deep. And then in June we begin a 3-month mastermind to teach you how to be a mind master.
I love it. And this is all at City Club?
No, the 3-day will not be here, and the 3-month will not be here. But in January, the 3-hour program will be at City Club.
And if they cannot be a part of the program but want to work with you, do you do individual coaching for people?
We do coaching, yes. I can be found on LinkedIn quite easily. Vernon Webb, speaker.
With
And
2 B's.
with 2 B's. Oh, thank you. With 2 B's. And also, you can find me on our website, mindmasteryaccelerator.com.
Yes.
So I can
Well,
be found.
I'm so glad I found you both because you are
Absolutely.
so fascinating. And I've really always wanted to pick people's brains on NLP and Silva, and I got it in one session. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Okay, this is meant to be.
And by
It's
the way, my
amazing.
social media is all my name. SHAUNE, Shaune, Arnold, ARNOLD.
Okay, at Shaune Arnold everywhere. All right. We would love to get some questions from the audience. Don't be shy. If you have something you want to pick their brains, come on up. The microphone is right there. And don't be shy at all. Yay, we have one.
Thank you very much. I have a question actually for each of you. Vernon, you mentioned that there are more than one way to access the subconscious mind. What is another way?
Another way to access the subconscious mind, and which would probably be an even better question for Shaune. See, I would tell you, learn to slow your brainwave levels down, all right, and establish a line of communication between the conscious and subconscious. Now, The other way that you can access the subconscious mind is through NLP, because it doesn't require you to slow your brainwave levels down. It's a series of processes, but it's extremely powerful and extremely effective.
Yes, they are the 26 processes that I mentioned. They work at the level of the subconscious mind. And so that's why Silva Mind Control and NLP are so beautiful together, because they both work at the level of the subconscious mind.
And I think just to clarify too, for people they're like, how do you slow your brain waves down? Oftentimes that's like a meditative technique.
It is.
You can just start by lying or sitting down, slowing your breathing. You can even count out your breathing, or there's even a countdown method with Silva where I think you go from 100 down to 1. You can also make that shorter as you really understand when you are coming out of the beta waves and into alpha. Is that right?
That's true.
You start to relax more, and you start to understand, when you're in that level, that you still have consciousness, but you are relaxed. It's kind of the next step below that in terms of brainwaves would be a really deep meditative state. And then below that would be sleep. So it's really about kind of finding the fine line to be able to be relaxed enough, but conscious and aware.
When we are in our conscious problem-solving mind, we are in beta. When we slow our breathing, and this is how I studied. I had no idea what I was doing was meditating, but I knew I had to sit for 11 hours with a law book. I needed to slow my heartbeat. I needed to slow my breathing. I needed to slow all of my physical processes down so that I could focus on the written word.
Yeah.
Once you get down there, you go into alpha, then you go through to theta. And children spend the first 7 years of their lives in theta. That's why all you're doing is downloading. If somebody tells you you're beautiful, you believe it. If somebody tells you you're stupid, you believe it. If somebody tells you you're not worthy, you believe it. And then you grow up. We were speaking with a gentleman a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about the fact that he was having trouble making phone calls. And so I asked him, well, what did you hear when you were a little boy over and over again? And all of a sudden he blurted out, "It's my money. I'll give it to you when I want to." And then he stopped and he looked at me and tears filled his eyes. He didn't know what that conversation was until it came out of his mouth. That's the power of NLP. That's
Hopefully
the power
that answers your question.
of accessing your subconscious mind.
That was excellent. Thank you very much. And Shaune, a question for you. You mentioned NLP to learn our own motivations. What is one of your favorite ways to learn someone's motivations?
To listen to the words that they use. If someone is talking to you about building a business, for example, and they say, well, I ought to build this business. I should build this business. I can't get started. I have to find money. Like, there are all of these words that they're using that tell you that there are some presuppositions in place where they have made certain decisions about their circumstance that could use some tweaking.
Yes.
If they are motivated towards something that is very different than being motivated away from something. Oprah Winfrey was interviewed on the red carpet, and the gentleman asked her, "Why do you do it?" And she said, "Why do I do what? Work out?" And he said, "Oh, I was going to ask you why you work so hard, why you build this legacy." And she said, "Oh, I work because I have a dream, because I want to do for humanity, and she spoke in very expansive terms about the legacy that she was building for herself. And he said, well, okay, since you brought it up, why do you work out? And she said, because I don't want a fat butt.
Oh my goodness.
Now think about Oprah Winfrey.
Oh boy.
Think about the legacy that she has built for herself. This woman is a billionaire. And think about her weight. Think about the struggle that she's gone through with her weight. She moves toward her legacy. She moves away from her fat butt. Mm. And so now you see why she struggles.
Oh, yeah.
So NLP will actually help you change your motivation from, rather than moving away from a fat butt, you're moving towards a strong body.
Yes.
So when you're moving away from a fat butt, eventually you're going to slim down enough and you'll go, oh, I no longer have a fat butt. And then you're going to start eating. But if you're moving...
We could talk about this for days, considering this is my area of expertise. Yes, that is true. And I will say that a lot of clients will actually say to me, like, I have to do this. I have to work out, or, I'm, forcing myself into this body. And I have them reframe that. And this is a part of shifting people's mindset. I'm like, what if you get to? What if it's something that you get to do? How does that inform how you're going to approach taking care of your body? It becomes an act of self-care as opposed to punishing yourself for your last night's meal, which will never, ever, like she said, especially in Oprah's had this struggle. Now she's, on weight loss medication, so it's a little bit less of a problem unless she gets off that weight loss medication. She, has this fight against her body. And many people fight when they're trying to diet. And I encourage people to stop dieting completely, because it's totally pointless, and start to tune into your body. And when you do that, it's a loving act. Exactly. It is not a hateful act. Exactly. It's like, hello, body. I love you. What do you want today?
In your current condition, I love you.
Yes.
I don't love you tomorrow.
I love you as
after
you are.
You no longer have that fat butt. Mm-hmm. I love your fat butt.
I love everything about you. And it helps you embrace changing in a more effective, sustainable way. It's not about clawing your way to health. Yeah. It's about knowing right now you have health. Yeah. Right now you want more health. Absolutely. How are you going to get more health?
Even more health.
Oh, we got another question, and then we do have to wrap it up.
Thank you so much for all of this amazing information. I had a question specifically about the program itself. I was unaware that it's a year-long program, and I'm very excited to know that now. And I'm already enrolled to be present for Wednesday morning to become an initiate, and I'm excited. But I would like a more comprehensive understanding of what I should expect as far as over the year. I heard you give a high-level overview. If you could just give me a little bit more details about that, I would really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So in this very first program, you're going to be initiated into understanding where your beliefs come from, and you're going to identify a belief that does not serve you. We're going to give you a neurostrategic technique to help you blow through it and then help you visualize your life without it, future pace success for yourself. And then we are going to give you some of the basics of mental projection. As we move forward into the apprentice level, we're going to start to focus on people who need to make sales in their business. We're going to talk about the 6 components of effective communication. We're going to talk about your value structure, and we're going to to go deeper into these mindfulness techniques, mindfulness trainings to help you build your mind as a muscle. When we get together in March, it's going to be a 3-day training. And this is where we are able to do things that are deeper and heavier for you. Things like conflict resolution, things like parts integration, where, for example, part of you feels like you want to build a business and you have everything that you need to build it, and part of you feels like you're taking away from your family, you're taking away from your children, you're taking away from your spouse. And we use neurostrategic techniques to help you realize that point where those two parts of you actually are congruent, to resolve those conflicts. And we need more time with you in order to do that deeper work. And so that's why we're coming together for 3 days, so that some of the things that Vernon is going to show you, he's going to show you how to establish a connection between your conscious and your unconscious mind. You may have heard of the concept of the monkey, the man, the rider, and the elephant. And the monkey being in the tree, running all over the place. The man wants to go to the beach, and the elephant wants to go to the mountain. Where do you think that man is going to go? He's not going to the beach. If the elephant being his unconscious mind, wants to go to the mountain, the man, being the conscious mind, wants to go to the beach, and the monkey is in the tree turning to the man saying, "You suck. You're no good."
And the podcast host is saying we are running out of time. So,
perfect place to end that.
So you will find out more as you ascend in the program. And I have to say, I wish we weren't running out of time, because this I could listen to all day.
We could go on all day.
And it's so fascinating to
Our
me.
favorite.
But I wish you two the absolute best with this program. I know it's going to be successful because you've already programmed it into yourselves. So thank you all for joining us at the New Body Insight podcast. We are really looking forward to our next exciting interview, and we hope you join us next time. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks for tuning into the ANEW Body Insight podcast. Please remember, the content shared on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. You can find us anywhere podcasts are streaming, on YouTube at my.anew.insight and at anew-insight.com under the ANEW Body Insight podcast tab. Follow us on our socials at my.anew.insight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more updates. Tune in next time and evolve with us.